I was blown away by the price point of this crank-based power meter from Magene on Kickstarter. But can it deliver the performance that it claims? That's what we're gonna find out in this video. What's up guys, my name is Charles and welcome back to my cycling YouTube channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more cycling content. If you follow me on Instagram, I shared 2 weeks ago a story about this Kickstarter power meter crank from Magene Technologies. In today's video, I will go over their Kickstarter campaign, I will unbox their power meter, I will mount it to my bike and do some really good testing to see if it's actually good and actually usable for you guys. But disclaimer, Magene did send me the power meter and the crank for free, but they do not have any saying into this video. They do not approve it before it goes live, so they will see it at the same time as you guys, so I am totally free to say whatever I want. If you decide to pledge on their Kickstarter campaign, this decision is 100% up to you. Magene creates a lot of cycling products, from home trainers to cycling GPS to heart rate monitors and to power meters. In today's video, we will dive into their top of the line power meter, the P325. Sadly, I do not have the Kickstarter crank. They sent me a Ultegra one, which I mean, I'm kind of stoked because Ultegra is like gold standard. But my contact at Magene told me that it's the exact same power meter unit that is on the Ultegra that will be on the Kickstarter crank. So before getting into the unboxing, why did Magene decide to go ahead and create their own crank? Well, it's fairly simple. When you buy your products from Shimano and you try to put your power meter on it, it comes with a lot of difficulties for the company to source the cranks. When the cranks are back orders, you have to wait in line as every other company. So Magene told me that they had a really hard time to source my recent power meter. So this is why this video has been delayed. I've been in touch with them since about September. So it's been 2 months for them to send me this crank, just because the availability was not possible because of Shimano. Another reason why they went with their own cranks is to give you guys, the consumer, a better price point. And with this Kickstarter campaign, I think they are nailing it so much. The dual-sided power meter crank is currently at $300 US. $300 US, you have a crank and you have a dual-sided power meter. That is a really unreal price. And if you go for a one-sided power meter, it's $200 USD. You have to keep in mind, it has to deliver the performance that we require as road racers and as road bike users. So the YouTuber GP Miller did a full breakdown of the 325 crank power meter from Magene. I will leave a link right down below the like button. And Miller in his video find out a few problems about the crank, but had also a few good things to say about it. But the good news is that the Kickstarter campaign, as of today, is almost fully funded. So that means if you do pledge, you are most likely to receive your unit. We've all seen through the years some scam starters or like product that take your money and will never deliver. The thing is, with Magene, it's an established company. They've been around for a long time. They do have a full line of products, a full team behind. I think the risk that they run away with your money, it mostly won't happen. But don't take my word for it. This is just some recommendation from a YouTuber who doesn't know much about them. All right, I'm done talking about their Kickstarter campaign. I will let you dive into it, have a look. There's like all the details over there. And let me know in the comments down below if you do end up pledging for the dual-sided or the one-sided power meter crank. Well, first of all, lead you to the ridge of cycling. It's kind of find it funny how like Chinese company comes with those like really like inspiring quotes to keep you motivated and get on the bike. They do have really another different feel than North American companies. Lead you to the ridge of cycling. Which ridge? What is the ridge? Anyways, it's just marketing. It's not really important. What's important though is the product inside. Lead you to the ridge of cycling. So first of all, we are greeted with the instruction, but hey, who cares about those? All we want to see is the crank. That looks really nice, man. A fresh crank is always really welcome. Yep, so that's the left crank arm. Oh yeah, that feels good. The cable, because yes, this power meter is rechargeable by its cable That is a huge plus. I've had the power meter before that you had to go store some like watch batteries, or they call like cells batteries inside of those, and it's such a pain to go in, take the cap off and change the batteries. And plus it's a lot more environmental friendly when you can recharge your batteries, so that comes a really long way. Okay, something I just realized is that the magnetic charging port, it's so easy to detach. I mean, you see it takes barely force to take the magnet out. When you try to set one and then it's pulling on the cable here, it's gonna like take it away. Once in there, there's a nice LED that indicates you that it's charging, and you should be good to go. So let's have a closer look at the main chainring crank. Let's first of all take this wrap paper off. Oh yeah, oh, it feels good. So we have here the Magene power meter is there, rechargeable. That finish looks really nice to me. Touching it, it doesn't look like plastic to me. It looks like some alloy. So that is a +1 for the build quality, and I'm sure it will help to last a lot longer time. All right, that's it for the unboxing. To be honest, there's not much to say. It's just like those two like tiny pieces of metal. Does it show accurate power? Is it easy to set up? Is it reliable over time? Can it handle my sprints? Can it handle my low cadence, high cadence? Those are all questions that I'm going to try to be answering in today's video. Just keep watching. You're already on the good track to find out if it's good or not. All right. Fucking idiot. I just opened my fingers with the chain ring. What a dumbass. I was pushing the wrong way and my hand slipped straight to that chain ring. All right, so I will now put my Assioma power pedals onto the crank, and I will test to see on my trainer if the power from the Magene is accurate with the Favero pedals. I've been using this power meter for 2 years now. It's been doing great, but I'm really looking forward for lighter pedals. Those are really heavy and like bulky. If the crank-based power meter from Magene can deliver accurate power for me, so I will probably be selling those on Marketplace. All right, now that we have the power meter installed on the bike, I will fire up the Magene utility mobile app from my Android phone. And I don't know if there's anything I should do, but I will go take a look over there. Okay, everyone, welcome to the test zone, the test lab. I don't know how to call it, but we are testing 3 power meters at the moment. The Zwift power meter, that is the Magene dual-sided crank. To your bottom left of the screen, that is the Assioma pedals on my Wahoo element. On the cell phone, there's also a Zwift, and that is the Tacx Flux. So in today's workout, it's not gonna be a real workout, it's mostly gonna be tests. So I will be doing low cadence, low power, burst of power, high cadence, slow power, everything a cyclist does on a bike. And after that, we will compare all the 3 fit files to see if there's any mismatch. All the power meters has been calibrated prior to this setup. And let's go for our first burst of power. This time a low cadence, 60 cadence, yeah, super high cadence. 145. Can bring it up more. 160. Now 600. Okay. Now 700. Okay, now 800 watts. Okay, next is gonna be cadence drill. Okay, now let's go all the way down to 50. And then one more all-out cadence. Woo! I saw 190. God damn. Alright, next we're gonna test steady efforts. I will slowly ramp up. Ramping up. 320. 4. And then more. 5. Going to 5. There we go. 5. Up to 6. And all out. Good. All right, now that I am recovered, it will be the final test, all-out sprints. Let's see if the Magene power meter can hold up to the power of the two other. I'll try to reach over 1,000. I'm not at my best sprint form right now, but so we will ramp up to 500 or 600, and then boom, launching it. Let's go. Ramp up, ramp up, ramp up, ramp up. Let's go! Woo! I saw that 1,000, so that's good. Go. You're up. You're up. You're up. You're up. Up. Woo! Okay, last sprint of the day. I mean, I might do another workout after this, like a real workout, not some power meter testing. You slowly start to ramp up. Seated this time. I'm gonna do the sprint seated. 3. Let's go. Sprint out. Ah! That was way harder. Alright guys, now that the testing is over, it's finally time to analyze the file. Alright, so here's the overall ride. It took about 28 minutes. In purple, that is the Flux. In dark red is the Magene, and in teal, that's the Assioma pedal. And with just a quick look here, we don't see any difference here in terms of spikes. Everything seems to be at the right place where it should. So let's look first at the first sprint intervals that I've done. Those were not all-out sprints, there were more warm-up sprints. The data looks pretty consistent to me. The highs are pretty much the same, the lows are pretty much the same and constant. A little tendency that I see here is that the Magene looks to always be the first one sending the data to the computer, which is really interesting. It goes pretty much as high as the other ones, or maybe read as a little bit lower than the Flux. The Flux here looks definitely a bit too high, especially here at the first sprint. The Flux looks like it went all the way to 800. Guess is that the Flux was not warm enough and the power meter was maybe not accurate. It gets more accurate over time. Now let's have a look at the ramping up. So here we have it. I'm going to zoom in there, and that's the ramp up from 200 watts to 253. The Magene is not the most constant as we see on the other power meters. You see those little spikes and it corrects. It spikes and it corrects, spikes and then corrects. And it's a pattern that seems to be throughout the ramp up. For the more straight line that we see is definitely the Assioma pedals, and the Flux is also more up and down. Here at the final sprint, it went, the power though is pretty much the same throughout the 3. But that's really interesting to see that the Magene is like slightly peaking over the other ones when it was a constant push. I was so maybe when I was putting a gear on the first milliseconds, it was reading wrong. I don't know about that. Now let's have a look at the final sprints. I did 3 completely all-out sprints, and I gave everything I had. And again, the Magene responding as the first GPS here, maybe like half a second before the other ones. And then the resting is all the same. And again, the Magene has some higher kicks than, but look, it looks here. It looks really good here for me. Here's the Flux that maybe has a high a bit too much over there. Assioma and 4 watts over the Flux. I mean, 5 watts difference. Is it that much of a big deal? Not really. Now that we took a look at the power, let's scroll down to the cadence. So the cadence is not really interesting data, but for some people it is. To be honest, I never looked at the cadence in my life. Like, if you're average 90, that's fine. If you're more of a grinder, I mean, it doesn't matter. We're all different, and cadence is not really important to be that accurate for me as a racer. But with the first overall look here, I do not see any difference at all between the spikes. If we zoom in here, when I did that 190 RPM, pretty much accurate. Again, maybe the Magene reading a little bit higher at first, correcting, or maybe just the Magene responding earlier than the Assioma. but the highest cadence is pretty much the same, maybe like 4 or 5 more. That is really not important. So like this part, and we're having 89.5 and 89.49. So the cadence is, for myself, exactly the same from the Assioma than the Magene. So that is a really accurate number. And the last thing here that we're gonna analyze is the power curve. So let's look at the minute power, 1 watts difference. Let's go to the 5-minute power. For the average of the 5-minute, the Magene read a little bit higher, about 7 watts more than the Assioma and 5 watts more than the Flux. 10-minute Assioma Flux 199.5556 and the Magene is 204, so 5 watts more again. Overall stats, the Magene here read about 20 watts lower than the Assioma, 10 watts lower than the Flux, so that is really good. I think that's pretty much it. I think we analyzed everything we wanted to, and the results are interesting, to be honest. So in conclusion, what do I think about the dual-sided power meter crank from Magene? Well, as I just showed, the results are somewhat really accurate. There's no jumps in power, there's no jumps in cadence. The average was about the same. I'm super satisfied with the power output from the Magene, and I think I will take my Assioma pedals off, maybe sell them or put them on my girlfriend's bike. Now, will the power be the same on the KickStarter crank? I think it would, because it's the exact same device that they're putting on the Ultegra than the KickStarter one. So my guess is that you will get accurate power if you pledge to get that crank. If you're a super high level racer, you do over 10,000 kilometers on your seasons, and you just ride your bike a lot and really hard and you're racing, I think the KickStarter crank might not be the option for you. You should invest into a Dura Race or an Ultegra crank, because those have proven to be reliable over time, and those are proven to be working as they should intend to. But if you're new to the sport and you want to purchase your first power meter, that is a solid option. For myself, as a Cat 1 racer, I am confident to put that power meter on my race bike. If Magene do end up sending me their crank power meter in the next few months, I will probably use that power meter, but on a second bike. So maybe a gravel bike, maybe like my race/commuter bike, and or maybe just on like a climbing bike or a bike that I want power, but I do not want to invest a lot of money. All right, this is it for today's video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you aren't already. I have a lot more cycling content coming in the next few weeks that you don't want to miss out. I want to say a huge thank you to Magene for sending over the Ultegra power meter crank. That's really appreciated. Unfortunately, guys, I do not have a promo code, but if I do in the next month, stay tuned to my website and to the description of this video. I will add it for sure. All right, my name is Charles, and I'll see you guys on the road or into the next video.